Well, look at this one first of all. So this one is a 1971 car. It's I think about 2000 or so from the beginning of production. It's a K-Reg, not a J-Reg. So it was registered after the 1st of August in 1971. Still quite rare though. This one again retains quite a few original features, most notably back seat, which is in really good shape. This is the original Palomino plastic trim that was renowned for breaking up. Someone's glued something over the seat base, but I should be able to recover that carefully and sensitively. And the reason they glue things over these, first of all, Kit Kat trim became quite unfashionable and untrendy, I think, fairly soon into the 1970s. Although very, very early Range Rovers, you see, this was typical for those cars. However, I'm rambling. What happens with the Kit Kat trim is it does that. So this is a reasonable example of a Kit Kat trim. The vinyl covering, you see the vinyl is really brittle, it just snaps. Yeah, foam inside it gets wet, lets moisture in, the process accelerates. So what we've basically got here is the remains of an early seat with a single inboard handle, no handle on the outside. There would just be a handle on this side here, so it's an early seat, and that's the reason why a lot of people abandoned these early typical interiors, because the driver's seat more often than not ended up looking like that. You can see the passenger seat there, it's got its handle on it still, looks in a similar state, but the back seat is nice. Probably clearly never been slept in. Let's just see if there's any stiletto holes in the roof. No headlining, that's a shame. Let's see if the car's been christened at all. Right, okay, so let's do a walk around of this thing. Where can we start? I'll just start with the overall stance of the thing. So it sits correctly, driver's door's dropped, not unusual. We'll check out the A posts and the B posts in a second. It retains a lot of original features. It's not been particularly messed with, although it's had some bits taken off it over the years. It's got original axles, it's got original engine, it's got original gearbox, all of them linked very, very closely number-wise to the chassis number. So kind of, it's a bit of a survivor really, paradoxically. Right, we look at the driver's door. Oh yes, another fuck driver's door. I don't know what it is I've got to do to get a decent driver's door. They are unobtainium. This thing is utterly ruined. You can see down here, this is fairly typical of what happens when these things rust. It's not great, is it? A post, on the other hand, apart from a hole right at the very bottom there, and you can see the drain hole's been bunged up because it's absolutely full of mud and crab. The A post, I think, is serviceable. This piece here is a bracket which holds the front wing on. I'll take that off, but if I can retain the nice profiles that you get with the hinge panels, if I can retain that bit and the rest of it I can cut out and weld around it, bit of seam welding. Okay, so the A post I'm happy with. Floors, yeah, best not go there. B post, similarly, so the B post comes down here and then curves up obviously. So right at the very bottom it's rotted out because the drain hole was probably bunged up, but above that is okay. All of this area here is all sill, so that's all going to get, that just gets sacrificed, it's out. Okay, oh look, the seat, safety seat complies with BSAU 140-1:1967. Yeah, I bet it doesn't anymore though, does it? What it's probably referring to here is the seat belts on these early Range Rovers, or in fact on all two-door Range Rovers. The seat belts should be attached to the back of the seat up here, and then it sweeps over the top and clips in down here. There's no bit anymore, unfortunately, on it, so you can't really see where it would have clipped on, but the seat belt was attached to the seat, so when you rock the seat forwards, the seat belt goes with it. What else have we got in here? Early steering wheel. It's got some of the column controls. They look particularly knackers. You can get replacements of these things, but they're not the greatest quality. The remanufactured ones, I'll see what I can do. A largely unmessed with dashboard. Again, nice early closing panel there. Down here, I've got a few gauges. What have we got? Oil temperature, oil pressure. Looks like a mechanical gauge, that one. And air. It's a vacuum gauge, I guess. I don't know. The fuck is that? Right, never mind. Gearbox cover, I think I can recover that. Dash module, what's it say? 61,000 miles. Again, it's faded. This is what happens to these things. As you pull the back cover off, you come out a little bit. As you pull the back cover off, you chip the front. You can get these covers now. And I might do that, I might not. Choke module on the early cars is always located down here. This is a later choke knob, because the choke itself should be a kind of sweeping down hang. It's like a finger that bends down like that and you just pull. There's that. A-post windscreen surround. So A-post, good. The roof is strapped on at the moment because it's not the roof the car came with, but it is an early roof because it's got the ribs right the way down it. It's not too bad. I'm happy enough with the roof. Rubbers, again, normally they're good inside and out. Sorry, good inside, bad outside, but this one's bad on both levels, so I'm going to need to, if I can pull this off for now, that's the profile that the early rubbers sit in, and obviously that bit there is what sits on the edge of the door here. And it just sticks to the glass as the glass goes up and down. I'll pop that back on, otherwise I'll be cursing where it's gone. This is a fairly typical example of a quarter light. You can see the metal frame at the bottom of the quarter light has completely disappeared. I'm going to see if I can make up a channel that does that. As far as the glass is concerned, you get these triplex stamps on here. You can date the glass by that. I'm not particularly bothered about it at the moment. Back, I have got the side windows for this. They were hanging out, so I took them out rather than break them. These are the clips I was telling you about. So that little metal thing there is the clip that's supposed to wedge this piece of plastic into the channel that supports the sliding window. And then those fellas, there's two of them, one at each end, go either side of the channel at the bottom of the sliding window. Okay, that's that. Back wing, pretty good. Yeah, I can work with that. Rear light unit, the side bit's good. Respond well. The back bit's got some cracks on it, so probably less good. One of the bumper end caps is missing, but the rear bumper ain't bad, apart from the fact it's had this bracket welded on it because of this, whatever it is. There's some sort of frame that's been put on there. There's a Dixon bait, remains of a Dixon bait tow ball there. So it's seen some action. It's got an early tailgate. It's got these dimples here, which the drop down number plate holder should fix onto. They've lost that years ago, and they've put some weird light thing on there. That'll come off. But the tailgate itself isn't too bad. So let's unlock it. Unlock via a handle down here. Hang on a minute. It's down. Sorry about that. I should put a noise warning on the video. Sorry if I didn't. Right, okay, so here's the platform. I'm not going to stand on this because I know the rear cross mirror on this is shot. But this tailgate, apart from the bottom skin, which has started to come away, this tailgate is really very nice. I reckon that will respond quite nicely. So, just the bottom skin that's gone. And I'll show you what happens there. You bastard. I might have to do another sound warning. Just a minute. What's happened here is the retaining straps don't have any pins on them. So I was getting all excited then about closing it. And it's closed. And then pull this into the other side to lock it. So basically what you get is the top skin, this bit up here, terminates down here, and then the bottom piece is just completely flat, apart from these dimples. So I might be able to retrieve it, I might not. It'll probably need unpicking. It's got some pop rivets and things around and about. It might have had the dreaded checker plate over the top of it, but I don't think this car's been checker plated. One of the worst things about the red / blue / gold car is the state of the back end of the chassis. It is shocking. and it's not uncommon to find them like this. It was probably this bad. That's the rear cross member. It's like one of those bloody underwater submarine things going over the deck of the Titanic. I mean, for God's sake, how much more rush do you want? So that's the chassis rail there. I'm putting my hand inside the chassis. Woohoo! Rotten as fuck. And the other side ain't much better. That's the other chassis rail. This car may need a new chassis. You can get repair panels for the back end, but I think when it gets more than a localised repair, you need to kind of think about how bad the rest of the chassis is underneath. That's fairly typical of a car that's been parked in long grass. Also, the chassis on the back end of these things, you can see here, there's the chassis rail. It goes up and over the back axle and then sloops down again after it. Now, it's always after it where these things rot out. I guess it's a reasonable distance away from the standard Land Rover anti-rust built-in mechanism, i.e. leaking gearbox, axles, engine and so forth. But also, it's a low point in the chassis. And I think because of that, moisture gets trapped in there, it stays in there. And then it ultimately just rots out if the air's not going through it all the time. So that's that red one. It's got the recess at the top here with some holes either side. No idea what they're for. That's a shame. This roof panel's got a big dent on it. I'll soon fix that, I guess. That's a shame. I thought this roof panel was a good one. Never mind. D-post trim is original to the car, I guess. On the inside again, you got the vent unit with the button that goes back and forth. Just opens the slide. I'm not going to wrestle with it because I don't want to break it. Yeah, it all looks quite nice in here. This one's not too bad. Down here, this is the flap, curtain flap that normally covers over the tools, which of course are all missing. There's the fuel filler down there. The curtain looks to be in astonishingly good condition, as does the goalpost. So this car is in pretty good shape. I'll probably end up replacing the floor and maybe the arch. I might be able to do some localised repairs on the arch. It depends what it's like, what the arch is like when I take the outer wing off. Inside here, if we take this panel out here, we've got the front edge of the arch, which is underneath the seat. And again, down here, they normally rot like fury around here, and all of this curtain is in really good shape. So that'll be staying. Oops. Door. Oh, it does shut. It closes, but it doesn't stay shut. Right, okay, there's a lock. Just needs lubing up, I expect. Not bothered about that. Least of the car's problems, really. Passenger side, rear wing. Quite nice, isn't it? Early style wheel. Passenger door. Oh look, I've got a strap up there. I'll go get some clippers in a minute and I'll open that. Deck panel has been mangled. I might be able to do something with it. It's a shame when these get mangled because it's probably original to the car. And other than that bit there, I think someone has adjusted that to sort the door hinge out. Front wings. Really very good on this car. Very, very light corrosion. That front wing, I'm definitely using that fella again. It's got early indicator pods. They don't have the black stripe at the back. Early indicator side light pods. It's got its original sealed beam headlights. Look at that. Hello, sealed beam headlight. So this car, if they work still, has been off the road for quite a long time. That's got a sealed beam. Be interesting to see if they work. That'll be a laugh, wouldn't it? It's also got the plastic tray in here that goes above the cranking handle, starter handle, and then underneath it's got a plastic air dam, and these are often missing because they often get damaged. So I'm taking that off very carefully. You could buy them new, but they're bloody expensive, and I'd rather use original stuff. another nice early indicator, and another sealed beam headlight. At the top here, original decals, but yeah, inner wings I think have seen better days, as has the body mount down there. There's no pedal box in it, but I've got a spare pedal box, so I'm not particularly worried about that. Your inner wings, I've pretty much had to do the same sort of thing on the white car I was working on, so I'm not particularly bothered. Original set of carbs, original engine. It's a 1971 engine, Rover V8 of course. It's got its metal fan in there with the fan cowling, which again is quite a rare thing to find these days. It's got mechanical fuel pump on the front of the engine, which I would expect to see. Fuel filter, coil, no ballast resistor. It's running a 12 volt coil. Okay, not a huge issue. All of the electrics and everything are here. Looks like some mice have had a go at the insulation around the loom. But the loom is all there. I stripped a couple of old looms down and retrieved all of the Lucas colour-coded wiring, so I can rebuild a loom. We can rebuild a loom where we need to. The bonnet isn't an original one. It is an original one, I should say. Let me pause for a second. I'll bring the bonnet down because I've only got one hinge on the bonnet. So let me just pause for a moment. There we are, bonnet's down. It's always nice to see the letters when they're on the front of the car. Look at that. Quite a lot of style went into these. Nicely spaced out. Probably, no, it's not an original bonnet because it doesn't have the wing mirror holes. If it was original, it would have had them. But that said, it's been repainted at some point, and this bonnet hasn't been repainted. You can see it's not blue underneath, but the rest of the car was blue underneath. That's where the Range Rover badge goes on the side. So you see they didn't even bother to take the Range Rover badge off when they painted the car. That's some quality job, isn't it? And the wings, front wings, certainly looks like to have come off a Bahama Gold car. Door was blue underneath. Rear wing has been blue and Bahama Gold. That's interesting. But this is the telltale. So basically underneath here, that is where the blue colour comes through. That's where you know that the car was blue originally. Also, you can see inside on the gearbox cover, on the insides of the doors and so forth, you can see where the blue colour is on the top edge, not the roof panel itself, but the rail that goes just below the roof at the top of the door. You can see that's all blue. So that's what this car was originally. Okay, so that's that one.